Hi, I'm Jazz and I'm an alcoholic and I'm codependent. I work a 12-step program and I seek health. I am a seeker and a traveler in my journey. As a mom, I used to put myself last and I wasn't the best at taking care of myself. And I've been working on changing that and figuring out how to put myself first. And that's such a huge thing in recovery is self-care. And one of the things that helps me have success with self-care is I have an environment that is set up for me to do my job, to take care of myself. Having a successful environment makes a difference. And because I'm in situations where my energy gets strained a lot and I'm pulled in many different directions and there's lots of needs. I have lots of needs. My kids have lots of needs. There's lots of schedules. There's lots of things going on and it's a constant battle thing. I'm always moving things around and juggling. And so my tank can get drained quite quickly. And so I've had to figure out ways to conserve my energy as much as possible and down to the smallest details. And, I shared this in another video. I had a really hard time with picking things up off the floor. And with little kids, it just seems like I was always picking things up. But it was actually physically draining me, I noticed. And so I really had to focus on doing more squats and stuff in my life. It sounds silly, but that's what I did. I started putting that into my exercising routine. So I got stronger at it. It's not draining my energy anymore like it used to. So my environment, so I acted on that strain that was pulling at me in my life and I fixed it. I can only fix me. So I fixed that. Another thing that I do is like with making lunches in the morning or in the evening, it was like my kitchen was all spread out and I was like, I just need to be standing in one spot so I can just do this entire job all in one go. And so I completely have made my kitchen a working space to get the snacks done, to get the food done, because it feels like someone's always eating. So I've made it, I've stood in my kitchen and within arm's reach, I was like, what are all the things that I need to do this job? And then I would, from the sink to the microwave to the coffee to all of the snacks that the kids will ever need, I put all in one shelf right beside the fridge. And then my other arm can reach all the way over to the fridge. And I found just that little detail, that little thing that I created in my physical environment helped me so much with my physical energy. So I'm doing things to basically minimize things that drain my energy so that I can have more efficient energy. And that was one of the things that's really helped me out. And since I have a toddler, I don't have my garbage under the sink and I don't have anything unsafe from the waist down in my home because I need a peace of mind. Like anything in my house that could be a choking hazard or a chemical, I've raised everything to above my head or it would take a bit to get to it. So I do things in my environment to make it easier for me to live my life because I don't want it to be struggling all the time. So what can I do about it? So I have a little like composty garbage that sits on my counter up in the corner on the other side of my sink. And when I'm doing my lunches, it's like really quick for me to just chuck things over there that I need to do. And that gives me a peace of mind. And that's a way that I can help myself have a better environment so I can have a more successful morning, a successful day, being a mom, doing the things that I have to do. So that's how my kitchen is laid out. Oh, another thing with my kitchen is anything that the kids need, because I have one son 6, one son 7, and I have all of their little cups. I have all their little plates in the bottom drawer and the Tupperware drawer, and they can access that whenever they want. I have a little stool so they can go get snacks whenever they want. My toddler likes to play with all the Tupperware, so he's allowed to open up the cupboards and play with the Tupperware. So creating also access for my kids to get things on their own helps me as well. And it also helps them build their own self-esteem to go get things on their own that they can go get, that they can. So that's another thing of the way that I set up my kitchen. And being a mom, there's lots of computer work and they don't tell you that at the beginning, and I'm not an administrative person, and I never was like a book smart person in school. I didn't have good grades, and so it's not my forte. I'm a hands-on girl. I like working with my hands. That's why I did trades for so long. So, I like to create and make things. And so anyways, I have my computer in the kitchen near the table so that I can operate, what do the kids need to wear for school today? What's the thing they need to bring to school today? What's the upcoming event? What do I have to put in their lunches, and what thing do I have to donate? Like, I do everything that I can to help myself. So it's because being a mom is my best job. It's my biggest job. It's my most important job. Besides taking care of myself, is showing up for my littles and my kids. But in order for me to show up for them, I have to have everything in line to help me have the best success at doing my job, which is raising my children. So I have fine-tuned my home so that my environment sets me up for that success, and it is easier for me to do my job, because it's not easy to do my job. I know that. So what can I do to change it? I don't have the time or the money to go hire someone to go work out and then pay to go work out and then have, 3 hours away from the house because I got to go work out. I had to get a used treadmill and put it in the corner of my house. And that is where I get to my exercise. And I even have everything laid out to get that exercise. So I literally, if no one's around or I have a little bit of time, it's ready to go. My entire outfit is sitting on my treadmill, my shoes, everything, my headphones. I just have to get down there with my phone. So, but just those little things all lined up, like all these little things lined up, makes it so much easier because it cuts out all the time that it would take for me to, where did I have my headphones last? Or do I have socks? And because I leave it the same every single time, I can rely on that thing that I set up. And that's also a boundary. Like, I always leave my shoes, socks, my workout pants, sports bra, headphones. I leave it there every single time. And I'm self-disciplined to do that. And then I know when I go back down there that it's all there every single time. I don't move anything. And that helps with my success for getting my exercising done. And I used to be like, I don't have time, or I'd have to ask the spouse for permission, and I didn't start getting my exercise in until I made that a really huge priority in my life, and then did everything in my power to get that done. So that's another thing is that's that little space, that little environment that I set up, it helps me get my exercising done. So, and that's just little stuff. And I'm not down there for many hours at a time. Sometimes, I get down there, it's just a half an hour, but a half an hour every few days does wonders to my mental health and to my fitness. It makes me stronger. It makes me a stronger mom to keep up with my kids. It was hard to get that all together at the beginning, but because it's such a habit now, I look forward to it. And then there's so much peace that comes with that because I go and I do it every time. And I know that all my stuff is there. So it takes all this extra thinking and planning right out. So that's another thing that helps me with my, having a successful growth mind and growth environment is what else can I do to get everything in line to help me get everything that I need. So another thing is one level on my floor I got baby gates, I've got doors that lock. Most of the time we all hang out on the one level, and when someone else needs space or private time or nap time, then I have another level. And I didn't think I needed that before because I always wanted rancher style homes. But having that bit of segregation in the house made a huge difference because someone's always sleeping because I have little ones and then I have older loud ones. So it's really hard to balance the noise in the house because I'm constantly having to tell people to be quiet. So a boundary that I've made is that if things get excited, it's outside play or downstairs. And then I reinforce that boundary. So I know my kids need structure, routine, and boundaries. And when I show up modeling those things, it helps my kids and it teaches my kids about boundaries and responsibilities by me also creating that in my life. So I want my children to see that it matters that I take care of myself and that I'm responsible for taking care of myself, and I get them to join in with as many things as I can. So another thing is I have an office and it's not a playroom, and I have that closed off because that's my personal space. And I can't do that in the noise of the home. Like I set these things up and then I protect them and they matter. And then I continue on with the things that I set up. And because I set it up and I have that self-discipline, then I get to rely on that. And that builds trust and self-esteem within myself. So all this stuff really compiles on top of itself. So I think that my life would be a bit more stressful if my kitchen was everywhere, if all the chaos was all in one room all the time, if I was trying to do my work things with the kids around and I didn't have my own personal space. Like it really helps me to have my own personal space, and just like listening to what the needs are in the family and then making those changes according to, I have 2 littles that are in cribs right now, and I don't have a big enough house to put everybody in their own room. So since my littles go to bed so early and I'm sleep training, they have their own roommate now. And when I moved into this place, I was like, wow, what the heck? How am I going to get everybody to sleep and fed, and everyone's on different schedules. The boys are really loud. The babies can't be disturbed. And, because I'm becoming gentler to myself and I am having, I'm helping myself and I'm talking nice to myself. Like, it's okay if the kids, like right now, they're going to have to be in my room. And when the babies get old enough, then I'm going to start separating everybody and putting them, 2 and 2 in a room. But, I'm working through the judgment of others, and I'm working towards what's best for me right now, what's best for my kids right now, because that's all that I have. That's the only person I need to answer to is me. And it's not up for discussion for everybody else. It's I figure out the need, their needs, and then I put things in place to get those needs met. And that's my right. And I don't need to ask anyone if I have a right to do that. It is just my right. So, I do a bit, I do things outside of the box sometimes, but I believe that the primary purpose of the things that I do matter. And that's, I'm being a mom, and I'm taking care of myself, and I'm taking care of my kids, and I'm working towards my dreams, and I'm working in my recovery really hard. So it's okay. And I used to have a really ridiculous perfectionism attitude, and I've really watered that down to more just easygoing, for right now attitude, and it's okay because it's okay with me, and being gentle with myself because I'm doing a hard thing, and it's only temporary, like all the pain that I have, whether it's right now or tomorrow or that I've gone through, it's temporary, and I believe that I can work through my problems. I believe that I can find a solution, and and I feel my way through these things, and then I look and observe and I listen, and then I act on it. So creating an environment that supports my growth, supports success, and doing everything that I can to make my home environment healthy for all of us has added to my life, and it has made a difference. Like every little thing has made a difference. So I really appreciate that. I'm a candle person. Sometimes when I'm really stressed out, I notice like even just lighting a candle and smelling that peach smell, it just triggers relaxation with me in a way. And then it like signals to me that I can get through this, and I'm going to be okay. Because it gets really chaotic with everybody at home sometimes, and I'm at the brim and I'm overstimulated. So, I have candles everywhere. And sometimes I find that just having those little things that I need makes a difference. Like sometimes I buy myself flowers, and I cut it up into multiple small bouquets, and then I spread them all over my house. Because when I look at flowers, I feel good about myself. And I have these in my house. Like I have lots of plants. I have, everything's really comfy. Like one of my children is on the spectrum. So we have really big sensory issues in the home. So it's a muffled space. There's quiet spaces, lots of pillows, lots of soft things. My home is like a comfy layer. And I do everything to promote relaxation and comfort and safety, and down to, visual, smells, what you sit on. There's a place for everybody to lay. There's a place for people to play. I do whatever I can. There's a place for quiet time, and when everyone's really getting those needs met, I just find there's a better flow. Like amongst the chaos, there's some kind of flow going on. And so I really set my house up for that. And it has made a difference. And so I just keep doing that. And when it's time to change something or add something, then I think on it and I evaluate it and I try it out, and it doesn't have to stay like that forever. I let myself off the hook if I have to, because I'm being kind to myself, and I'm getting out of living in extremes, and I'm trying to live in the middle. So if having a healthy environment and a safe environment, an emotionally safe environment, also matters as well. So that could probably be another video, but it's really, it's for how crazy it is with having 4 boys. I have found some peace, and I promote that peace in the house. And I'm trying to signal to my children that peace is very valuable, and how how I treat myself and how my home is something I want my kids to know. And I have to show that and demonstrate that. And I have to take care of myself too, because they're looking at me. They're looking at me all the time. What's mom doing? What's mom saying? And they're, how's mom talking to herself? And how's mom talking to me? And there's a self-tape that is being created inside my children. And so I'm really focused on how I am showing up for my kids, but it starts with showing up for me first. All this work really starts with myself. So, and then just being really consistent with that. So those are some of my things that help me to have a successful life at being a parent. And yeah, so I hope that helped someone. Thanks.